Welcome, everybody. This is Mr. Nice, and you're watching Kung Fu Fanta. And today is Sunday, 25 May 2025. Today should have been a party, but all well is well, right? Thank you for coming in. I see Lynn's Kitchen. She was the first one in. Thank you for being here. Angela, I see you there. I am Lucy and Chai R. We have a few other people watching. Go ahead and get the likes up. And today I'm going to expose a little bit about V. Mwelu. I did make one comment on her, I guess you can say her expose of cleaning out the closet, so to speak, about people she was trying to reach out, trying to get phone numbers of, and all that other stuff. So basically, I said, you're pretty much a snake. I don't remember the words verbatim. I have to go back to the chat if my comment is still in there. How come you basically stabbed me in the back? And that's what it really is. See, V. Mwelu is a backstabber, no matter what her real story is. And I'm not going to say that her sister is not in jail or prison in India, and that's an unfortunate thing. This has nothing to do with that. This has nothing to do with the critter, the creature, the curb creature, the evil person, whoever's behind Mr. Fruit's Money, that channel, which used to be, what was that? Bosi and Boca, I think it was called. Before that, it's the same person, obviously. And the thing is that everything that she talked about, I'm sure there's some truth with it, but Nairobi teacher has his own story. Carol has her own story. And On Trending had her own story. She made it very clear that she doesn't give her number out. And if you're going to bet everything on not getting somebody's number, it's not trying to help you through other people or the person directly from themselves, because I don't know the whole story, but just from what I'm remembering and from other people's reactions, I don't expect to get somebody's phone number if they don't want that to be let out there. And it doesn't mean that they're ignoring you. It's because they're protecting themselves because they don't know what could happen. In my case, I can expect things to happen. And the main part of what broke back TV and her no proof video trying to expose me, and the only truth that she had in that whole thing that I can think of is that my other channel is called This Is Africa, that I've had since 2018, but turned it into a channel in 2019. So that's been like, 6 years now? 6 years. And I've announced that channel once in one of my past live streams in my other channel that got taken down. So what am I really hiding? So I don't show my face. Big deal. The other thing is that she lied about is that I used AI technology for my voice in these other videos on my other channel. This Is Africa. No, because the person is so dumb. And, you think the person had reason, stuff like that. And I know a lot of people like her. I liked her for her humor. And I still do as far as her humor side thing, part of her. But she's dumb. She's absolutely dumb because she knows nothing about IP addresses and how they work. And obviously she knows nothing about sound. She knows nothing about AI, really. She's going to go learn, I'm sure, because I'm pretty sure she's interested in using it. The thing is that you got to prove that it was AI. And there's ways to actually detect AI, and she doesn't know that either. But this is what it is. I was not using the same room where I have all my computer equipment that wasn't sound treated. So that's why my voice sounded different. But you could tell it's me. The room that I have now, I got it sound treated, but partially. It's not fully. I never finished it. So that's why my voice sounds deeper in this room than it did in the others. Y'all can go check it out. This Is Africa. The @ is @this_is_Africa. You can go there, listen to some of the videos that actually has my voice speaking. And yes, the reason why what do you call it? Unlisted my videos when she mentioned that is because I had a certain phone number in the description box of all my videos because she's not a trustworthy person. And so is a lot of other people that like to cause trouble. If they got that phone number, they would be harassing a certain somebody with that phone number. So as soon as I stripped all the description boxes from every video, which took a little bit of time, by the way, I put the videos back up. Even the one she mentioned where I was doing a short interview, which happens to be 1 or 3 shorts in the short section on that channel. And then the dummy says the same IP address. I know this is supposed to be about V. Mwelu, but we'll get back to her. The dummy says, I use the same IP address for so-called This is Mr. Fruits Africa, or not Africa. This is Africa, Mr. Fruits Money, this channel, whatever else, right? But yet, she knows nothing about private IP addresses, MAC addresses, and public IP addresses. She knows nothing about that, but I bet you she's going to scurry now just so she can update herself real quick. And she's never known about it before today. Because if she did, she would have made that fallacious comment that I got his IP addresses and I don't want to share it because it's illegal. If she actually had my private IP address and shared it, that would be illegal. But she doesn't have my private IP address. And then that video is going to come later because I'm going to show it all how it really works with YouTube, which 99.9% of everybody around the world doesn't know nothing about. Doesn't know a damn thing about. There's nothing wrong with not knowing, but doesn't know a damn thing. And she's one of that 99.9. But back to V. And actually, let me say hello because we got a few more people that came in. Char has come in. Cecilia Herbert is in. We have A.M. Carroll is in. Thank you for being here. Well, but let me see what some of you are saying. Well, I'm going to keep listening and I'm going to keep watching all you guys. Your enemies will not be my enemies. And that's the way I feel about it too. I'm just going to observe and give my opinions and views because this is crazy. And it is crazy. Nairobi Teacher, thank you for being in. On Trending, thank you for being in. And I'm actually not mad. However, one thing that I'm not, and I'm going to say two things. One thing that I'm not is I'm not whoever this creature, this curb creature that calls him or herself, because it might be a woman, Mr. Fruits Money. I'm not Goat Matata TV. I even saw a comment. I was the day that this was happening. I was at different chat rooms and comment sections. One person claimed that Jam Tours was Mr. Fruits. I think it was. Yeah, Mr. Fruits. Jam Tours was Mr. Fruits. That was the funniest one. Brokeback TV herself in her own comment section when KLA came in claimed that he was me or Mr. Fruits. So you see how stupid this is when you can't even get your story straight. And back to V. Mwelu, since this is what I'm talking about here, or who I'm talking about here. We had a conversation, and the message that I shared with her, I shared it with a few other people on IG. I would say approximately 6, maybe 7 people. And the reason why I did is because Brokeback TV on her community post put a big old banner, This is Africa, a banner saying This is Africa in colors that doesn't even belong to me, by the way. And so I already knew that she was complaining a little bit recently, or other people complaining about Mr. Fruits Money, saying things about people's children. I wasn't really paying much attention to it because that person, I don't care about that person. And so when I saw that, I knew she was going to start a smear campaign, because I remember as soon as I saw that, I was like, wait a minute. Okay. So many months ago, she was blaming JT, even though she said in her video, but still, this before her video came out, she was blaming JT for being that person. So don't you find it kind of strange that if she couldn't prove that JT was that person, how in the hell is she going to prove that I'm that person without even showing any actual proof? And I remember somebody in one of my past live streams said, or asked me or something about JT being this person. And I said in my live stream, nobody can prove that. Nobody can prove that. Because we didn't see him making a mistake of screen sharing himself in some video where he's logging into that account. So how can you prove that? You cannot. And the only people outside of the actual person who owns it. The only people that actually have that information or can access that information actually is the people at Google and law enforcement, which they would have to go through Google. So how is it based on making an assumption that something that I've shared before, like This is Africa, can somehow correlate to Mr. Fruit's Money being the same person? How can Goat Matata TV correlate being me as the same person? We don't even have the same style. Anybody can say, well, you can create different editing styles for different channels. Well, why would I do that? Why would I do that? That is not my style. And just because I'm a fan of some of that work, it's still not my style. How is me and KLA going to be the same person if that's even possible? He shows his face. I'm on him with within many of my live streams, some of his live streams. How's that going to even be possible? If you try to put that together, how is that possible? Like, seriously. Like, I'm even guessing, but I think I know, but I don't know for 100% sure that Bosie and Boca, the channel, and Mr. Fruit's Money is the same person. But see, I actually don't know that. I'm making that assumption, ain't I? Absolutely. I'm making that assumption. So people have said, and I can't find it, that the Bosie and Boca channel has been taken down. It's possible that the Bosie and Boca channel is now Mr. Fruit's Money, like the name could have been changed. But I haven't been following that channel because when I first started going there and looking at it, and the name was popping up and it was being popular at the time, it was sick to me. It just there's this dark scenery coming over the videos, and the way that the videos are being edited just seemed like somebody behind this was just so evil. And if you read this person's comments to their own pleasure, they'll put anybody against anybody, create fallacious stories about people whenever it suits that person. But I already knew there were people like that out there back in the days of Facebook because I seen them in Facebook. I mean, I've been reacting for at least over probably about 20 years now. So I'm a better reactor. I'm going to say this, and I'll brag about it. I'm a better reactor than Brokeback TV. I may not have the comedy sense that she has, but I'm a better reactor. I'm a better investigator. I'm a better person who knows how to deep dive into a particular story. I'm way better. Most definitely way better. But you don't see me going around bragging that I'm better this, I'm better that, because I don't care if I'm better or not. And I only watch reactors that I like, reactors that are good. And just to name a few, Officer Tatum is one of them. A lot of people don't like him. A lot of people love him. Ben Shapiro, a lot of people don't like him. A lot of people love him. The truth is, a lot of people like him. A lot of people don't like him, and a lot of people love him. I don't care for the people who don't like those people. Just like I really don't care for who doesn't like me. And so when V. Mwelu took my message that I sent to about a half a dozen people, the reason why I sent the same message to a half a dozen people so I don't have to retype it. I just forward my message because it's the same message. It belongs there. It's as if I was to post up in my post, right? But this was just for certain people. And so when she decided to expose that to Brokeback TV put it on her post. And that's fine. So this way, by reading the post, I found out exactly who it was immediately, because in IG, and for a certain setting, it'll tell you who took a screenshot. So V. Mwelu, it was saying V. Mwelu took a screenshot, like 3 or 4 different screenshots. And this is prior to Brokeback TV coming out with her video. And then when her video came out, what does Brokeback TV do? She posts those screenshots that V. Mwelu took. So I had no idea all the tension or stories and stuff that was between her and Nairobi teacher, her and maybe AM Carroll. Definitely, I didn't know between her and Biko Real or whoever else. That was not my business, and nobody was coming to me to tell me what was going on. So when she came out with her live stream the other day, that was after a few people made a few remarks, which to me wasn't real bad. The remarks that they made, other than to me, it was seemed like this is the type of person you cannot trust. But already at that time when they were making those remarks, I was already exposed as being the so-called Mr. Fruits Money, allegedly. So when you have lazy ass people like V Mwelu and Brokeback TV that don't know how to do research, that doesn't know how to deep dive, that when you read a message and you're talking about, okay, I'm coming to somebody and I'm saying, okay, this person's going to do this live stream. They're going to say it's me, but I'm telling you it's not me because it's not. And I actually don't know this person. So you automatically think in your mind there's some guilt there. I could see where some people would think that, but can you actually think in your mind with real discernment that that right there is going to say, oh, it's got to be him, so it's him. So therefore, without any proof, a dummy releases it as if it's proof and telling her audience, oh, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. So what I'm asking from Brokeback TV, where's your proof? Where's your proof? Because, another thing too, this actually all comes together. When on the 23rd of August, 2023, when Coca Mama, back then Modesta Lifestyle, came to me and tried to get me to go against Carol over the COQ squad, because Brokeback TV and Coca Mama and Brokeback TV, they're one and the same. You can't have one without the other. So by Coca Mama sending me that message, that was no different than Brokeback TV sending me that message. If Brokeback TV sent me that message in 2023, it'd be no different than Coca Mama because they're one and the same, because they were in on it together. Tried to pit me against them, trying to do a preemptive strike, and it didn't work. And they were pissed because I said I didn't want to get involved in it. What's ever going on, I didn't see any reason for any division. And I left it at that. And she even said, sorry for bothering you. I said, no, it's all right. But I just knew for a fact that when I said I didn't want to have anything to do with it, there was going to be an issue. The reason why is because I didn't take their side. Not her side, their side. They have an issue about competition. It's not really an issue about competition on Kenyan reaction, like what's going on in Kenya. It's nothing like that. It's because whatever it is that they're reacting on, and it could be anything, just as long as they're reacting, they want to be on top of everything. Okay, competition is good, but to backstab people in the way that they do, it's not cool. And V Mwelu being involved in it, that's really not cool. When just like about 2 to 3 days prior to that crazy video that Brokeback TV came out with, I was helping V Mwelu because she asked me, will you help me in StreamYard, because I don't understand how to share videos the way On Trending does and Carol does or Nairobi Teacher does. So I want to be able to learn. So I actually took out my time because I had some time, and I spent about an hour with her. And she was very hard to work with. But I've worked with a lot of people because I used to teach people how to go from Windows to Mac, from Mac to Windows, that type of thing. So I know how hard it is to work for people when they don't understand something. So I took out of my time with no problem. And I made sure that, and I had to stop her from talking because she would interrupt a lot. When I'm trying to show somebody something, they interrupt, they'll never learn anything. So I had to stop her on a few occasions so I can get her to understand this is how you do this. And then when I saw the screenshots coming, or when they came, I was like, wait a minute, something here ain't right. And me and her even talked back and forth after my initial message that the person behind this account, Mr. Fruits Money, is some type of evil person. And this is when I got to learn from Mwelu that this person was talking about her kids. Like, definitely, like, I knew for sure that this is the person, because she said so, is talking about her kids, and said something like, I don't remember verbatim, said something about her womb should be removed or something like that. Just something crazy, something evil. Right? That's unfortunate. And that has to hurt when somebody does that to you. I got tougher feelings than most people. However, it doesn't mean I won't address you. And if I don't address you at all, it really doesn't mean anything. I didn't have to come here today at all. And I'd still be innocent, because you want to know why? The ball is in my court. It's not in Brokeback TV's court. It's not in V. Mwelu's court. It's in my court. Why? Because the IP addresses say everything. The actual real IP addresses that YouTube has that you don't see. I remember in my old reaction channel, there was this one lady I used to react against because she would say some foul things. Ended up being friends with her later. But there was this other person I would react on more than her. And then that person was a scammer. I brought her up before. I just won't mention her name because I don't want to give her any more clout than she deserves. She's an actual scammer here in the United States. But anyway, this person thought I was doing certain things behind the scenes, and she hired a private investigator to find out exactly who was doing what to her. And come to find out, that private investigator told her, because she even said it in the video, come to find out, it wasn't him at all. It was the other one that, because those two didn't get along either, by the way. It was the other one who was doing all these things. And she thought it was a man doing it. No, it was a woman. And it was the scammer that was setting her up for certain things. And it was crazy. Because this person, this private investigator, had to do some things to actually find out who's doing what. And it was easier on that time to find out these things because that person wasn't using YouTube. That person was using emails, where you can actually track these IPs a whole lot easier. Hell of a lot easier. So it's funny when people start throwing around IP address this, IP address that. Sometimes I just laugh. I just ignore it because I already know that most people don't know anything about that stuff. I'm not even a professional at it, but I know a lot. I have gone to networking school for fundamentals and all that other stuff. So I do know what I'm talking about. But it's crazy that somebody would actually look at something that I say and then automatically assume that I'm guilty. And then when the video comes out to expose, the video didn't expose anything except the Nash of Brokeback TV. KLA came out with his own live stream, I think that same day or the next day. I was actually on the live stream later. It was like almost a 4-hour live stream. He's known me since 2019 on This Is Africa. He knows me. He's seen me. He's all this stuff. We knew Michele Ponte way back. It's either 2019 or 2020. Further back than most reactors. Michele Ponte knows me through This Is Africa. Yeah. So this is nothing. This is nothing new to me as far as reaction is concerned. But one thing I noticed is that even today, Niger Daughter TV believes the bullshit. Now, I never thought that she would, but based on what she hears in the video, she thinks it's me. And so I have to ask people, like, when somebody makes statements like that and they have no proof, like I would have been totally okay if Brokeback TV said this is my opinion. This is my opinion. No, she went on a straight smear campaign and said it was me because she wants to put a name on it. And the real reason why she's doing this is because I didn't go against Carol back in 2023. That's why. Something that Mwelu didn't know nothing about. It's unfortunate. So in my due time, I will be making a video that's going to make Brokeback TV look like a complete Nash. A complete Nash. I don't know. Let me see what some of you guys are saying here. Hey, Verve. That's Boxman, and that was what his channel always did. He even played recordings of people on his channel. Now, you're the second. I won't say who the other person was, but you're the second person in like maybe 3 days. I'll probably go back a little further, maybe 4 or 5 days. Well, that other person asked me, "You think it's Boxman?" And I don't know, but I wasn't even thinking of Boxman. And I went to go check his channel. I was like thinking, it could be. It could actually be Boxman. Because Boxman was one of those, that the only guy that I ever heard said to Brokeback, don't say Lambruski, Lambruska. And for something, he said like, she's going to be cursed or something. Like that's something very sacred to Jesus or something crazy. But it does make me wonder. See, here's the thing. I was also thinking it might be Doreen Small. Or maybe possibly Cleo Bonnie. And I have my reasons for Cleo Bonnie, but I don't know, right? Because I'm guessing. I also thought of about a half a dozen other people that it could be. But the thing is, here's the thing. We don't know. You could, by me saying this, you can still say, oh, by him saying that, it still could be him. It's because you don't know. I don't know who Goat Matata TV looks like. I don't know what he looks like. I don't know him. I don't know him at all. Okay, let's see what else. Richard, hello. I like Ben Shapiro and Officer Tatum. Yeah, they're a couple of my favorites. I got quite a few people that are my favorites. A couple Nigerians too. Verse says Boxman was always using the name Demon along with the other Nigerian woman. Okay. I haven't watched him in so long, so that's something I probably forgot. Let's see here. Okay, let's go. Thank you for being in. Hi, Mr. Nice in chat. We have Angela says, Kung Fu, I see you took me down as a moderator from. Why? Because I took everybody down pretty much. I took everybody down just about. So I just basically want to do a clean slate. I want to do a clean slate because I was watching, I couldn't remember everybody's names. I wasn't writing them down, but I was watching some people's names. Fake Ray was definitely one of them. But I don't think I ever put her as a moderator though. But if she was a moderator, she's definitely one of the ones I would have took down quickly. And I might just not have any moderators. You know what I mean? I really don't need any, to be honest with you, but it makes it easier when you're doing certain things. But that's the reason why I just wanted a clean slate. Angela says, but it's cool, Kung Fu, because one thing about me is I'm going to watch you anyway. I'm a loyal, just ask questions, and I don't trust everything, which is good. I hear, but it just makes me think. It makes me think too. But here's the thing too. I watch some people's reactions, both negative and definitely on the positive, which the positive ones, the so-called positive, is crazy majority of the time. They make some sense sometimes, but majority that's just crazy. I mentioned this a very long time ago in one of my first live streams that when I was talking about reaction, I said one time that a lot of American reactors will react negatively. And there's like total war zones, and it makes no sense. So to me, actually, if you're lying about stuff, like if you don't have the proof or you're not giving an opinion, you're lying about stuff, like deliberately lying because of feelings or whatever, you're not a reactor. And gossip is not reaction. gossip is lying. Gossip is lying. So when you start going from reaction to gossip, you're no longer into reaction. I mean, we could joke around about gossip, but to actually sit around and gossip, there's a couple people that when they started gossiping, I stopped watching them because it just became I would say an F fest, and you can just imagine what the word F I'm using, which word for F I'm using. But Chayar says, Angela, I don't think he is reading the chat that way. Yeah, I'm not reading the chat because if I was reading the chat in the way I was talking, I would have missed out on a lot of things I was thinking about. Cecilia Herbert says, sounds like everyone knows that they are talking about and that they're experts in computers. Yeah, and I'm not an expert in computers. I know a lot about computers. I've worked in sales tech. That means I was selling computer equipment to consumers as well as to companies. And I've done a little bit of tech work, but I don't have any. I used to have one certification, but it timed out because I didn't renew it. Angela says, well, I don't believe everything I hear, but I do ask questions and listen. Angela says, Chai, well, I'm still going to comment. Okay, let's see here. Angela says, and Mr. Fruits insults a lot of us, but I think he is 2 or 3 people because one, Mr. Fruits was cool. Let's go says, anyone that has been watching, you know, it's not in your personality or character to be MFM. Yep. October Rise, thank you for coming in. I'm lost today. It seems that I don't get it. I think the best part to start, if you haven't seen already, October Rise, is to watch Brokeback TV's video, so-called Exposing Me. Start from there. I would start from there. And then today, it's probably not the next video, but I would still watch it. Watch Nigel Daughter's TV today. Her video today, it wasn't a live stream. Yeah, it was a live stream. It wasn't a premiere. It was a live stream, and she was using Restream. The other ones I would watch is a couple days back, watch Nairobi Teacher, and I think it was yesterday, AM Carol, or no, day before yesterday, AM Carol, and then watch V Mwelu. Hers is going to be a long one, where she's doing a lot of complaining and telling this whole backstory, and then a lot of stuff that was just irrelevant, according to me, but probably not to her. Cecilia says, well, the saga will never end if you all continue bashing and name calling. Immature mentality. Yeah, I can agree. I mean, I'm calling her Brokeback because to me, it's like her story is broken, so she broke her own back. And I just really don't want to give her any shine. That's the reason why I'm giving her that name. Just like I call Cheesecake's Moongo, and you know who Cheesecake's the first name is. I'm giving her that because I really don't want to give her any shine as much as possible. Yeah, American reactors are wild and they go in. Yep. Shara says American reactors are too messy, which I totally agree. For the ones who just sit there and have cuss fest all day long, yelling at each other on panels, constantly in courts and calling the police on each other. Now these are the real issues to complain about. Versus Chayar, manipulation through emotional string pulling is real on social media. They want folks to pick a side. And that's the thing. I mean, when I first came back to reaction on video, which is Kung Fu Fanta, as Mr. Nice, I was making a decision. I was only speaking to 2 reactors. That was the Aphrodamos Report. He's from the Gambia. He's here in the U.S. He lives 3 hours from me. And then there was the Crook Traveler, the Ghana guy who reacts. He used to do a lot of reactions on Marwa and D and all them, but he doesn't do that anymore. He's mostly contenting on Ghana, mostly, and Nigeria. So, you know, I was thinking at the time that, you know, I'm just going to do my reactions. The first reaction that I did was when Min Howie and Davey Jr. doxed Modesta Lifestyle's phone number. That kind of blew it for me. I was pissed off about it. It wasn't because I didn't know Modesta. I didn't know her. But because they did that, that pissed me off. So I flagged the video. Thing is that I was thinking about coming in back into action and just not contacting anybody. Or maybe down the road I'll contact people, which I did, which I started befriending OT and other people. But it would have been okay because I know people would have still been watching me if I didn't contact anybody, because a lot of reactors, they don't contact anybody. I mean, I've done that before. When people would come to me, I didn't talk to them, nothing like that, because I just didn't want to get involved, because this is what happens sometimes. This little messy stuff like Mwelu did. This is that messy stuff. So she was supposed to have that conversation in confidence with me. But I'm glad she did it, because now it lets me know what type of person she is. And I'm only addressing her because of what she did with me, because I know what she did with me. So I've never done anything to her, never backbited her, never backstabbed her, but she sure did that to me. Yep, she sure did. And from the looks of it, or from the sounds of it, she's done that to a lot of other people before she did that to me. Hell, I didn't know. And Vico Real just really opened my eyes, at more so than anybody else. I mean, my eyes were open with everybody else, but with hers, she was very passionate. She was very angry. And I understand. I understand that feeling. So the thing is that my network is getting smaller and smaller, and it's okay to be that way, because I've said this, and many other people have said this in the past, that when you come to YouTube, you don't come to YouTube or social media really to make friends. If you're doing that, you're kind of in the wrong place. It doesn't mean that you can't gain or garner friends out of the experience, because that does happen. But when it comes so fast, and too many too fast, and a good example of this is when Marwa, after, the so-called villa was built, and he was inviting everybody to come from overseas, and hardly anybody came. But who came? Mostly Kenyan content creators. So it was good and bad on both sides. So it was good and bad for Marwa, and it was good and bad for all those people who came to his place. Everybody wanted the same thing. They wanted to get a shout out from him, thinking that that's their claim to fame. And he took it as, you give me a gift, I'll give you a shout out. You work for me, I'll give you a shout out. But he realizes that that's not always a good idea. And all those people that came in who really got duped more than he did, they really found out that this is not how you make it on YouTube. You can count on one hand how many people really made it from him on YouTube. And some of the people that came to him, I recognize them. And some of them were almost as big as him, or at least one. But some of them had like 80,000, over 100,000 subscribers already. They didn't need him. But for some reason in their mind, they still thought they needed him for something, but they didn't need him. And now when I look at them today, they're not even associating with him. They didn't need him. So all those people that quit their jobs, left their wives for a chance to be a superstar on YouTube, look what happened to them. They came out dusty. First they had a job, and they came in dusty, and they went out dusty, because Marwa would kick you out dusty. And that's what he's doing right now with some of his workers. He's messing with them in a dusty way. He's going to kick them out dusty. A guy like that doesn't change. Let's see what else. I see Ornella's in the house. Thank you for coming in. I don't think I saw you before till now. Angela says, can I be cool with everybody and accept that we all not perfect on here? People make mistakes and do stupid stuff. Absolutely. Angela, I have noticed I have been getting cold shoulder because of KFF. Is all well. Cold shoulder. Angela says, Angela, that can work if you're not on a bully pulpit. Okay. Call me controversial. Thank you for coming in. I'm not saying, okay, this is what I'm not saying. I'm not saying don't support anybody, because there's no reason to do that. And I'm not saying to unsub from anybody because I definitely don't do that. I don't approve of that. And plus it's against YouTube policy anyway. What I am saying is when people come out with a claim, and I'm talking about what Brokeback TV's claim was, and they refuse to show proof to such a claim. Because the claim would really have to be is that she would have to somehow see that I logged into that account, that YouTube account. So that's the proof that she has to have. She doesn't have that. You know what I could do and a lot of other people can do because we have the skills to do it. I don't do Photoshop, but I do another program like Photoshop. I can create screenshots. I can take screenshots and I can create what looks like somebody's logging in and logging out of a certain account. I'll get the font size, I'll get the correct fonts and everything. It would take some time, but I could do that. And then I could put a little PowerPoint together if I wanted to. But see, you can't trust that because that's not proof. Because if that was ever to go into investigation, like real investigation, they will look at the background of those files that were made and they'll see how they're made. Like were they actually screenshots that weren't altered? Because there's ways to find out. Behind each image, just like behind each web page, there's some code on a web page, HTML and all that other stuff. Well, there's code on every image. So if she was to come out with some fallacious thing like that, and if it was ever to go to the authorities, they have the tools to verify that. So I would say bring it on. Because Brokeback TV, I'm not afraid of you, just like I'm not afraid of Marwa with this dumb threat or with this dumb accusation. So I'll say bring it on. And I can't remember. Somebody said, I think it was Angela. A lot of people are claiming to be computer experts, and that's so true. So many people do that. So many people do that. And you know what's funny sometimes is that I haven't really seen it here in this sector, but in other sectors where they talk about computers and people are arguing. There's been so many times where people start talking about IP version 4 and IP version 6 IP addresses and how they're worked in a router and a home router and all this other stuff. And they get some of the information wrong. And then somebody who really knows will be in the chat because you never know who's listening, who does that for a living. And will come up and say that that's not how it works. And then sometimes I've clicked on some of those user profiles, checked out, they might have a couple videos and they'll be actually them working their job in network security or just networking computers together and all that other stuff. And they know what they're talking about. So, and it'd be their faces in it and all that other stuff. Right. So it boggles my mind that somebody might watch a video, a YouTube video, no doubt. A little bit about IP addressing, and then they think they know everything. First of all, you got to practice that stuff. You got to know it on the back of your hand. And did you know a lot of people that are in network, that are into networks, in networking, when they don't do it for a while, when they take a hiatus of like, let's just say 4 months, they have to take a quick like 2-week crash course so they can memorize to get back to work. No joke. It's no different. Like I used to do websites a lot, even as a side hustle. HTML, CSS, a little bit of PHP and all that other stuff, right? If I don't do it for a while, I got to take a quick crash course on a lot of it. I mean, it's in the back of my head, but you got to constantly be using it to retain it and be afresh. So if you want to be afresh, you just take a quick rehash course for yourself. So that way you're back on track in like 4 weeks or so. So yeah, so be careful. When you listen to people, just take this as entertainment. Like really, I mean, at this point, we might as well just take a look at Brokeback TV's claim as entertainment because she didn't prove anything. There's a whole lot of talking and no proof. And so with V. Mwelu helping her just makes her look more guilty as a person to be trusted. So if anybody, oh, and I got to say this because I didn't want to forget this. This is why I can't look at the chat all the time. When the rumor was going around that JT was Mr. Fruit's money, it was Fake Hey Ray that was sending me screenshots that, look, this JT is this person, Mr. Fruit's money. They had the same writing, syntax, and everything. So whatever she sent me, I looked at it. And the syntax of the writing styles between them were not a match at all. It's just that I can't even remember if she said that Brokeback was the one that was doing it or somebody else. But the thing is, it was her that sent it to me. And she wanted me to believe JT was that person, but she could not prove it because it wasn't a match. So I said, it doesn't match. I can't see the match. So therefore, I'm not even going to entertain this. I can't entertain this. Let me see what you guys are saying. Go back up here. All right, let's see. You didn't see the idiot on Kenyan Abroad talking about me, you, and Carol wanted to scam them. Oh, you know, there's so much going on in that chat. I think I remember, but I don't remember who. And I don't even remember exactly what was said. And I can't remember if that was the same chat where I saw that crazy person saying that Jam Tours is Mr. Fruit's money. Cecilia says, Verve, okay. However, I didn't hear him say that he was comparing that. Okay, I'm missing something there. Char says, call me controversial. Exactly. People are free to go where they want. Angela says, Ornella, but it's important to see people who, for who they really are, even though we support them. Because I'm seeing some messed up things and actions from many we didn't watch and support, but I stay subbed. Angela says, I'm trying not to be so judgmental. And like KFF said, look at these channels as more as entertainment. Right. And the thing is, I've said this before too, is that YouTube calls every one of us who makes a video an actor. So even CNN, which has a YouTube channel, right? YouTube calls them actors. Get it? CNN actors. Yeah. Trump is an actor. Biden is an actor. Who else? Whoever it is. Who's that judge guy? I watch him too. He's now a reactor. Judge Joe Brown, from Los Angeles Circuit Court. He had a show. He's now a reactor. He's reacting a lot by himself, and he has this other woman that reacts with him. I forget her name, but they're constantly doing collabos together about court cases and stuff like that, or certain situations. He's a reactor, and I don't watch him much because there's so many that I watch. But when I do, his reactions are great. I loved it when he was doing his show as a judge, and I love his reactions. He's really great. I don't understand how people have the energy to go around labeling people they don't even know. Yeah. Let's see. A lot of pot stirring going on. Yes, there is. Angela says, yep, entertainment with a little reality because we're human, right? Exactly. And that's, you got to think way back, as far back as I can remember, because YouTube is over 20 years old. And if I can remember, it was a couple of employees of Google, and they sold it to Google, if I remember. But anyway, YouTube mainly, I remember it for back then, was DIY videos. DIY, if you wanted to know how to make a picnic table or a kitchen table or anything like that, you went to YouTube. If you wanted to save money, you wanted to do it yourself, you want to take that chance, you go to YouTube. That was the go-to place. Then Home Depot started getting into YouTube, making videos on how-tos, and then, selling their products. So you can get this at YouTube. This is all you need to make this deck. You know what I mean? It was big on that. It's still big on that. But nowadays, for the past like 10 years, especially, it's gone to a lot of reaction, which is cool. A lot of politics, which it didn't have much before. Um, Traveling vlog stuff. I think that's been going on for at least 15 years, though. That's a little older. Um, I can't remember. There's just a lot of categories. Of course, the gaming community that got in early on YouTube. So yeah, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things out there. Let's see here. Okay. Verb is saying there's lots of videos on YT that fabricate from some real life issues or stories. You have to be careful what you feed into it. Yeah, and you know what? there's a new thing now that started last year sometime. When you upload a video to YouTube, there's this one thing that asks, is this altered content? Like, is it believable? Like any AI tools or any other tools other than AI is making people say something they actually didn't say. And if it's yes, because you're changing it for entertainment, you would have to click yes. If it's no, then it's no. But that's like a requirement now on every video upload. It's not like a law or anything. It's just their thing. So that's something that we all have to do now. And if you skip that, there's a possibility that that video can be taken down if you forget to do that. Okay, we got that one. Angela says, yes, I remember DIY videos, and she's laughing at it because you know why she's laughing at it. And see, I'm guessing right here is because me and Angela are old, right? That's why you're laughing. So we go that far back. We're old. And if you remember some of the old Home Depot videos that started jumping in on that, and in the old videos too of all those, there was a lot of TV shows at that time. What year was that? Like 2005, 2006, around that area, which was around the time YouTube started, actually. There was a lot of shows that were on TV. There was like Fix Up Your Garage or whatever. It was a bunch of shows. I was like binge watching those shows. Every one of those type of shows, I was watching them. And that's around the time when YouTube came about. And what was on YouTube at that time when those shows were on? The DIY videos. The DIY videos. Lowe's, Home Depot, you name it. Home Base is out of business. They were up there. Joe the Plumber. If anybody remembers Joe the Plumber, he probably still has a YouTube channel. I don't know. Joe the Plumber was also on some shows. Those are dogs in the background. Sounds like wolves. So that's my neighbor's dogs. It sounds like he got 10 dogs, but I think he only has like 4. Verse says, I'm still wondering how the positive reactors stay focused on their task and not react on each other. It's actually easy to do that if you just have, I guess you could say, if you really don't have, I would have to say like a discerning behavior within you. Like when you listen to somebody and you watch somebody explain something, do they have reason? Are they reasonable in the things that they say? Do they talk with reason, or do they just talk just to be talking? I think with them is that everything to them is a joke. There are definitely fanatics of Marwa. So that's one thing we got to know. Nairobi Teacher was the first one to say Marwa has a lot of these fanatics, and they are truly fanatics. When you're a fanatic, you're basically like a zombie. So when they react, they're zombified to me. Sometimes they make sense, but they're just zombified. It's like they can't get off the bandwagon of this person somehow is my boss, because you hear a lot of them say the boss says, the boss did this, the boss is going to do this, the boss is collecting money for this. He's their boss. Whether if that boss likes them making reactions or not, to them, he is their boss. To them, he is their cult leader. Remember we were saying back in 2023 and 2024 that this is a YouTube cult with Marwa? It is. It's a YouTube cult, unfortunately. And so they're not thinking, they're not reacting with reason. And so therefore, that's why it seems like they get along. But, they have some backstabbing things going on over there, too. There's always somebody that's going to backstab somebody somewhere over there. So it happens everywhere. Let's see here. Chai says, because they're Ruler keeps them under his thumb. Over there, it's independent contractors, but some want to run everyone. Okay. That could be you're either talking about the reactors or his workers. One of the two, I'm guessing. Verve, positive reactors react on one another, but not like this, and they don't get attention like the lazy gang. Yeah. Thing is, I never subscribed to the lazy gang thing. It was always a joke to me because Marwa said it. And I'm always going back to that because Marwa said it. I can never take Marwa seriously because Marwa said it. So, and to be honest with you, I think Brokeback, she doesn't take it seriously either. I think she's just using it. I'm the daughter of the soil. Well, where did she get that from? She got that from that Ghana guy that's in New York City. I forget his name, but he was the one that Marwa, I guess, was staying at his place while he was in New York City. So if you remember him, he was doing a little bit of reaction for a little while, then he stopped. That's where she got that from. And she just made it more popular. And when she said the CEO, probably because more people were watching her at the time doing reactions, possibly. And she kept saying it. It's like nobody else wanted to claim that. Why not? It's just a persona of this is who I am on this channel. This is who I say I am. So this is who I'm going to be. I'm Mr. Nice. You're watching Kung Fu Fanta, the channel, Yeah, that's no big deal. Angela says, yeah, because I watch positive gate react or gake reactors from time to time. And yes, they zombies, but they do react on one another at times. Yes, they do. I've seen that before. Carol is in the house. Ornella, it's always been for a long time. So what did Ornella say? How now YouTube is full of hate. Yeah, it has been for a long time, for real. Call Me Controversial says there's so much greed and bile within some Kenyans on social media. And I'm glad you said some, because it's definitely a lot of Kenyans on social media don't behave with all that bile at all. And I'm talking about on all the platforms. So I'm glad you said some, because sometimes I forget to say some. When I'm talking about a certain group or anything like that, it's just easier to clarify it when you say some and not all or most. If you say some or most, depending on what the situation is, I think that's best. But I think we're all guilty of forgetting to say that sometimes. And it is really sad. It is. Verse says, Mora, Zach, David, Mary never went to the villa. Not like their reactions are always great or hold some validity. He doesn't control them. Yeah, and realistically, he doesn't control them. But I think what some of them are doing, and this is just my opinion, is that I think they know that Marwa doesn't like them, or at least some of them, but they're going to pretend that they like him, so they're going to use him because that's really their bread and butter. He is their bread and butter. D is their bread and butter, basically. And then, of course, the quote unquote so-called negative reactors are their bigger bread and butter. So, let's see here. Cecil says, gonna go. Storm's heading this way. Okay, take it easy and prepare for the storm. Hope it's not going to be a bad one. Andrew says, I think it's important to stand independently and support each other. Correct, and that's what I do. Each other from a distance, because y'all not real friends. Y'all reactors. Stay to yourself. Don't even do shout outs. You can still grow. I agree with that. I agree with that. And I like a lot of reactors. Kenyan, American, Nigerian, reactors from other countries, period. Being a Kenyan on social media, it's so toxic watching anything involving Kenyan across social media platforms. Yeah. But I don't know if you've gone around to other sectors with other countries. Call Me Controversial Kuhu. I even went into a section a long time ago with Namibians. It was kind of small, but there was a lot of vile over there. They're not as big as Kenyan and Nigerian communities online on any social platform. However, I have seen some backbiting and stuff, in some areas that they talk about, some certain things, topics that they talk about. And it's crazy. And it's not just politics either. So let's just leave politics aside. They go after each other outside of politics. So it really depends. But no, you're not going to get like the numbers like Americans and now Nigerians and Kenyans. And the UK is another big one. There's a lot of backbiting, backstabbing with people in Britain that are on social media. I see it all the time. When I was on Facebook, I've seen it all the time. Excuse me. I had a lot more contact with people in UK when I used to be on Facebook all the time, and at least 2013, 14, 15, around that time. It's crazy. And that was before video became big over there. So this was all text at that time. Angela says, even on jobs, you don't have friends there. Go to work, and go home. Yeah, exactly. Angela, I remember I had an issue. Man, I was like, I think I was 18. I had an issue with one person at the job. I don't even remember exactly what it was. But I remember one of the supervisors, we all in the back room with the manager, but one of the supervisors was in there, and he said, when I come to work, I don't come here to make friends. I just come here to work, get paid, and go home. That's pretty much exactly what he said. So y'all get together, say sorry to each other, whatever you got to do, and get back out there and go to work. And he wasn't even the head man in that office. But it made so much sense. And it's like, I haven't had anybody at a job talk to me or talk to us in that way, right? So it was interesting to hear that. And I kind of took that with me, because that also applies on social media. Like, we can all be friendly. We should all be respecting each other, and I think this is where a lot of people get it wrong. When you go to critique, like a reactor goes to critique somebody that actually did something wrong, or if maybe they didn't do something wrong, they just had a different opinion of what they did or said, right? Then a lot of people, and we see it all the time, they correlate that as hate or jealousy. And, we say it all the time. They keep saying we're jealous. They keep saying we hate. And that's not the case. And they say it so much, it kind of makes you feel sometimes in a way that maybe I should hate that person because they keep saying it. But I don't feel that way. But I can understand if people do, because you hear it so much. Angela, at work site, the employers don't play that. Yeah. I do on TikTok and Facebook, and it's really sad. Okay. And then Chayar says, some people are trying to force a division in the area. Like I said before, it's not an organic shift. And I totally agree. And I said this a few times, but I remember one particular live stream. I really kind of dove deep into about the subject of division. And it wasn't main part of the show, but I remember I wanted to talk about it. And I said something to the effect that, there's unnecessary division and there's necessary division. If anybody remembers me talking about that. Nobody should ever come in and try to divide us or divide you, wherever you are. But if somebody's coming in, for an example, and I remember using the drug dealer analogy. So if you all remember that, you kind of remember where I'm coming from. If a drug dealer moves into your neighborhood and you had a peaceful neighborhood and he's paying his rent and everything like that, but now he's tearing apart your neighborhood because you have unfriendlies coming in, buying drugs and doing other stuff. That is somebody that it's legitimate to have a division with. That's not a good neighbor. So that neighbor has come in to cause division by what? Selling drugs and making the neighborhood unsafe for both children and adults. But unnecessary division would be somebody coming in and doing what they're doing now to try to get reactors to go against each other. And it doesn't matter if it's a reactor that's doing it or somebody who's not a reactor that's doing it. So there's times for division, and there's other times that division is not necessary at all, and it shouldn't be there. And if you find out who it is, then it's necessary to divide yourself from that person. because that person has no good intentions. They just have ill will intentions against you or the group that you're with. On jobs, it's mainly Black Americans who are so rude towards foreigners. In some cases, but you're going to get some angry people that if you say that they're gonna get angry at you. So, Angela's saying October. Yes, I did that for 20 years. I was successful. My coworkers knew I was business period. Wait. October rise. Let's see. What did October rise say? Angela 100. No friends at work. Just be quarter. Yeah. Okay. I see what you're talking about. That makes sense. And that's what I do. Like, to be honest with you, when I'm at work, I used to. Well, let me go back. When I used to talk on the job all the time and not work, talking would get in my way, and I'd be let go. To a point now where I hardly do any talking, and more people are talking to me at work, that I kind of seem like I'm unsocial, but I'm not. It's just that I have a habit. If I start talking, I'm going to be behind on my work. It's like I'm not good at multitasking. Like, people can socialize really well while they're working. That's not me. It's like I have a block in my head. I can't do it because I'm going to miss something. I'm going to make a mistake and all that other stuff. I just can't do it. It doesn't happen. Okay. It does happen. I agree, Angela. October. Yes, I did that. Okay. I read that one. I couldn't stand foolishness on my job. I was focused. Yeah. That's the way I like to be. I had coworkers that liked to give us hugs. I was like, homie, don't play that. Yeah. Angela Verve, mine too, but I did give hugs. We was all teachers. Okay. And I guess it also means what type of, I guess it matters what type of environment where that would be okay. At my job, probably not. Just to be honest with you, probably not. The hugs, I don't think that's going to work. That is what we call maturity and growth, October rise, versus they would try to gang up and hug me. Oh, wow. Seems like a lovely job. No pun intended. Angela says October, yes. Well, too bad. We call it what it is. Angela says, excuse me. Angela says, and so these YouTubers need to be professional. This is a job. We not at a playground. We grown. Yep. Because you deeply concentrate on your conversations. All right. Nikki with an I, thank you for coming in. Becomes antisocial at work because once I help someone, they expected that task to become yours. Unqualified staff promoted on the backs of your work. That can happen. I've seen that, most definitely. Angela, I work with them for 20 plus years. Okay, so let's see how long we've been on here. Oh, over an hour. Okay. All right, so I said what I had to say. I will be making a video, maybe 2, maybe 3, but I think I just want to stick it to maybe 1 or 2. And I'm going to react on this. So this is basically just an update live stream to let everybody know that, hey, be careful. When somebody goes out on a smear campaign on somebody, do you really have all the facts? Or do you have the main fact, which is the proof? If you watch a short video of something that happened, that somebody was defending themselves and they said they attacked the person, well, what happened to the rest of the video that happened before that? So how do you know that person was attacking them and not defending themselves, and they had to use a certain amount of force to go ahead and protect themselves or somebody else or property? It's that same type of thing that we're seeing here with Brokeback TV's video. It's the same type of thing. And something like this happened. I don't want to mix up the names, but one of the American reactors was reacting on something that was very similar. It was a smear campaign and they had absolutely no proof. But I have a feeling if I played into that video, it'd probably get flagged. So I'm not going to do that. But anyway, that grain of salt really applies here. It really does. And if this happens to anybody else, it's and you know the ball is in your court, you can either react to it or not. And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, Mr. Nice, you should come out and clear your name, this and that." I wanted people to actually just think about it for a while. Think about it for a while and imagine that how can this be true if the person making the accusation has no proof and they're only saying that it happened? That's where it gets real dangerous. And that's why a lot of reactors only react on something that's already been done and already been proven by investigation or maybe a court of law. That's why you see a lot of reactions are about police cases or lawsuits or accidents that have happened, like big accidents where a bridge has fallen or whatever, stuff like that. Those are kind of like what you call, I guess you could call safe reactions, right? And you can give some facts and give your opinion. And a lot of people watch that stuff. A lot of people watch that stuff. You have a lot of reactions on car accidents. I mean, you go out there and just type up car accidents and stuff, or LA freeway police chases or whatever. You're going to see a lot of reactions on those types of videos, a ton of them. And you'll see a lot of them got really huge views. Stuff like that, to me, it'd be very boring. And I think a lot of it's very lengthy, but there's reactors that react on that stuff. So, and a lot of them do a really great job. Sometimes I watch that stuff. I watch a little bit of everything, it seems like, but I can never sit down and just binge on everything because I just don't have that time. Nobody has that time. It's impossible. So, but anyway, I thank everybody for coming in. I really do appreciate it. Let me see if anybody else came in as I was talking there. Okay, I don't see anybody new. Okay, we're still talking about on the job stuff. Yeah, thank you everybody for coming in. I'm going to go ahead and close this out and just watch out for my reaction video on the smear campaign because I'm gonna throw some juice out about this whole thing, and it's not what I really talked about here. I just kind of hinted here. So, like I said before, on KLA's, that it's going to be educational. Class will be in session. Namaste Z. Thank you for coming in. Thanks, Mr. Nice. I was listening and enjoyed everything. Thank you very much. Oh, and by the way, I pretty much narrowed down why my other channel went down. When I was playing the music of Bamboo, I was playing some of the music where he had nothing licensed at all. And then I was using some that was licensed. And the ones that was licensed, he has three things. He has no license, license to share revenue, and you can't use, he has other songs where you can't use at all. You have to just pay for it. But you can't use any music videos at all. Like he's not sharing revenue. He's not selling the rights for royalty free, nothing like that. So I used the other two where you didn't have any license and where you share. Okay, so in your videos, you're allowed to use those. But here's the caveat catch. I went through, okay, there's a section of the guidelines that they said I went down, but they didn't give me the exact reason. So I went through there like a fine tooth comb. A couple times I read through that because I read the guidelines at least once a year. But I had to do a deep dive and go through it a couple times. And there's a section, and I shared this with Nairobi Teacher because he doesn't play music like that, but I shared it with KLA as well. Don't make the mistake I did. The only thing I could find that I actually did wrong is that I played their music through a third-party software. Like I've read this before, but it didn't catch. So you can use the music, like I could use his music on other videos, but when you're live streaming, it specifically said through live streaming third-party software, you cannot do that. So I don't know 100% for sure, but that is the only thing that I see that I violated on the community guidelines in that section of the community guidelines that I did. So I know it's fun and everything, when you're live streaming, everybody's like, a little bit of music here and there, kind of livens things up, relaxes people, whatever. I can't do that anymore. Not unless it's music, like the royalty-free music, no copyright music that I can use out of the library of YouTube, like the intro that comes from the library, the YouTube audio library, where the countdown is. I could do that anywhere in my video, but I cannot use those others. And no matter how tempting it is, if you're going to do a live stream somebody, don't do it. Don't do it, because that's what cost me. So anyway, yeah, let me go ahead and get this going. This is Mr. Nice. And on that note, everybody, I'm out. And thank you for watching this episode of Kung Fu Fanta. Cheers.